I'm sorry. Were you expecting Turn 5 Live this evening? The boys from Turn 5 Live have the night off.
That is damn right, brother.
Right.
That's nonsense, Quinn. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry.
I don't care what you buy.
You're not just buying a racetrack. You're buying a piece of American racing history right there.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And what a facility you've got. Outstanding.
No matter how long I announce at Canandaigua, that is Gary's house, and it will always be Gary's house.
I hear a lot of rumors. I'll just keep tuning in to you guys.
I consider myself a young kid looking to go fast and have fun. I wasn't looking for a Hall of Fame career.
Well, drivers being what they are, they're prima donnas, you know. We need change. You know, we like being in the comfort zone. We are not in the comfort zone. Just, you know.
I don't like it one bit. I've never liked it. It kind of sucks, really.
Somebody ought to take a wiffle ball bat and just flog them.
Tune in to Turn 5 Live and see a selfie on the radio.
On the radio, that's right.
There comes a time to sit back and say, I've just got too much going on.
Why don't you bring us to more places like this when Brett goes? There isn't any other place.
Race fans, it's time to throw it up on the cushion and get dirty. Coming to you live from the Finger Lakes at Southern Tier, it's time for Turn 5 Live. Now, your hosts of Turn 5 Live, Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, and Brad Ovens.
All these times, I simply stepped aside. I watched but never really listened.
Oh, how appropriate. A little five-finger death punch kicking us off here on episode number 2 of the 2017 season here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Welcome aboard, race fans, to this week's show, as we've got a great show planned for you tonight. There has been a hornet's nest has been stirred up on social media, as well as over on racechaseronline.com, thanks to yours truly. And I'm going to lead it right off the top of the show tonight because, yes, we have certainly stirred up a hornet's nest in the IMCA modified ranks. And I got to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care one bit. I couldn't care less what kind of controversy is getting stirred up here because IMCA, in my eyes, whatever's in the water out in Iowa, it is some good stuff. Let me tell you that. They have completely left all of the racers and supporters of the IMCA sanction racing at both Skyline Raceway Park and the Hill Speedway. They have completely left these folks out in the dark. And, you know, that was bad enough. And then Friday afternoon happened. And IMCA looked into their crystal ball and said, you know, how can we screw with these Northeast guys just a little bit more? How can we make this story just a little bit better and give that Ovens kid something else to write about? Well, they came up with a doozy on Friday when they offered a IMCA modified sanction to Glen Ridge Motorsports Park out in Fultonville. Almost all the way out to the area of the Fonda Speedway. And when you're talking that area, you know, you're almost out into the Capital District out near Albany. So, you know, yes, it is a good 3 hours distance away from the only other Friday night sanctioned track in New York State, and that, of course, being Outlaw Speedway here in Dundee. But I'm starting this off with the show tonight because I just don't understand. You know, we're talking about Friday night tracks, and we're talking about the difference between a 2-hour drive and a 3-hour drive. And when we're talking about Friday night tracks and we're talking about things happening with those Friday night tracks, you know, the IMCA division is a division made for the budget racer. It's made for the guy that's replacing ball joints in a local garage. It's made for the guy that works on the family farm. It's made for the guy who works at the family truck parts store, busts his ass all week long, so that he can go out and be a weekend warrior and drive race cars on the weekend. And when you take a group of drivers and teams like that, and you tell them, we want you to be a part of our group of racers. We want you to buy our license. We want you to race at our sanctioned tracks. But on Friday, when you're getting out of work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we want you to drive 2 hours to Outlaw Speedway to participate in IMCA sanctioned racing. And we don't care that you've got a track 20 minutes away from home in your backyard, whether you're a Skyline racer or you're the Hill Speedway racer. We know you've got tracks that have had sanctions for our division before, but we want you to drive 2 hours out of your way, spend all that extra in gas money, and buy our license, all so that you can compete at a sanctioned track, so you can earn your state, regional, and national points if you're going to, try and do what A.J. Ward did and chase the national title. That's what they want these racers to do. And I'm sorry, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. And that's the point of these 2 articles that I've put out here over the last month, is they just don't seem to understand that on a Friday night, that's not realistic. It's 2017. Last year was 2016. We're going into 2017. It's racing things not cheap. And although I don't field a race team right now, I did. Maybe not an IMCA car, but I fielded a race car with my father. I know that racing is not a cheap sport. And I'll tell you, it's a hell of a lot more expensive now than it was back when we were racing. And so when you take all of that into consideration, and this nationally sanctioned group of racers, now they have to make that tough choice. They have to sit down and look at the economics and say, is this financially smart for me to participate? Am I going to drive an hour and 40 minutes out of my way just so I can participate with this sanction? The sanction in which is primarily the reason I even have this type of car. There's a lot of positives that come with being an IMCA sanctioned racer. The rule book, the rule book's undisputable. The rules are the same here in New York as they are out in Iowa. The rules they race, I'm sure, under the Super Nationals, same as what you race out here in the state of New York. But now you've got to make that tough choice. Am I going to drive an hour and 40 minutes out of my way when I got a racetrack in my backyard to just go compete at the only sanctioned track in New York State? And why won't they sanction my home track? Because they say it's too close to the other sanctioned track in the state. And now, Friday afternoon, IMCA gives a sanction to another track that's another hour away. And so I have to ask the brass in Iowa, what is the difference between a 2-hour drive and a 3-hour drive? At the end of the day, what is the difference when we're talking about Friday night tracks? If we're talking about Saturdays, you know what? I'd give them a pass if we were talking about Saturdays. Because Saturday, yes, some people do work on Saturdays, but Saturday gives you more time to get to the racetrack and get yourself situated. Fridays, let's be honest, Fridays can be a mess. You're rushing, you've got no margin for error. Nothing can go wrong. How many times have we seen it at Outlaw Speedway where we've had to start maybe 20, 30 minutes late because there was an accident on one of the main highways coming to the racetrack? When you're going to your Friday night racetrack, there's no room for error. We got to get home from work, hook up the car, and get to the racetrack. Back when I used to work EMS, we used to call that a shit and get. You got to go. You don't have time to have any kind of error along the way. But that's what the sanctioning body wants. These two big pockets of racers. That's what they want them to do. They want them to drive clear out of their way on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, just to compete at a sanctioned track. And you've got the Hill Speedway that has done everything they were asked to do. They were told to wait a year. Glen Ridge Motorsports Park wasn't told to wait a year. They haven't had an IMCA race in 4 years. And the race they did have 4 years ago was a special event. They weren't even a weekly division. And let me throw out another point in regards to the Hill Speedway. IMCA Modifieds are the premier division. They're the top rung on the ladder. Where do IMCA Modifieds fall at Glen Ridge Motorsports Park? Somewhere in the middle. And I don't care that Glen Ridge got the sanction. I'm happy for them. That's great for the racers out in that area. And I'm not taking that away from them. But I'm saying, if it's good enough for Glen Ridge, why isn't it good enough for Skyline and good enough for the Hill? The Hill was told they had to wait a year. It's been 4 years for a special event at Glen Ridge, and all they had to do was make a phone call. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, IMCA? If them not granting a sanction to Skyline and the Hill didn't tell you all you need to know about how IMCA views their racers in the Northeast, boy, did they send a clear message on Friday when they just gave one with a phone call conversation to Glen Ridge. And again, great for Glen Ridge. I'm happy for them. I know this one person this really benefits is Will Ward. Will Ward's going to have a great opportunity now to still compete for state, regional, and who knows, maybe national points. I don't know what their plans are for this year, but with a home track in his backyard, that's going to bode great for him. And I love that. I love that for the racers out there, and I'm not taking that away from them. But what about the guys in Northeast PA? What about the guys around Skyline? What are they supposed to do now? Drive clear out of their way? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We got a great show planned for you tonight. Billy Maynard, old Willie, going to give us his thoughts. Here next on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Max Dairy Bar is a proud supporter of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Opened in 1974, Max Dairy Bar has been a Penn Yan, Cayuga Lake, and Yates County staple, serving the best Hershey's hard ice cream. They also have soft serve ice cream, their weekly yogurt special, sorbet flavors, gluten-free options, frozen Greek yogurt, and non-dairy lemon ice. Don't forget about their tricky 18-hole putt-putt course that will test your skill to see if you have what it takes to be a champion. Max Dairy Bar and Mini Golf, located on State Route 14A, just south of the village of Penn Yan, right on the way to Black Rock Speedway on Friday nights. Visit them online at www.maxdairybar.com or Max Dairy Bar on Facebook and Twitter. Stop by Max Dairy Bar and tell them Turn 5 Live sent you. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Dan Harpal from Penn Speedway, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. I've got a nice tall glass of water here. I'm cooled off. We're ready to go here. And I'm excited for this segment because this guy messaged me last week when we were talking about IMCA issues. And who knew? Who knew that the powers to be out in Iowa were going to give us even more to talk about? And so how appropriate that our first guest of the night tonight, IMCA car owner and a longtime supporter of the division, Billy Maynard, joins us on the RaceChaserOnline.com hotline. Billy, I appreciate the time tonight. You're going to give me maybe an opportunity to cool down here.
Maybe I'll make you worse.
Yeah, that could be, man. I'm going to start with this. You've got a great. You and I have had a couple conversations, and you've got a great perspective. But before we get to that, I'm interested in your feedback from, what was your reaction when you heard about Glen Ridge getting the sanction on Friday afternoon?
I really didn't have much of a reaction at all on that. I'm glad to see them get the sanction. I think it's a positive for IMCA racing. I think they're far enough removed from these other tracks that it could help the division grow in the region. It definitely is good for Will Ward and Aaron Jacobs and some of those guys up that way. Growth can't be a bad thing, which makes their decision regarding the Hill and Skyline even more puzzling if growth is their goal. I just don't see these racers down here going to Glen Ridge on a Friday night. So, I think that's a good opportunity to generate more cars in terms of the Empire Series. If they have several tracks, that adds one more that they can have a couple races at. I think a guy could work it into his schedule and his finances to possibly support one or two races up there if it's in the series. But on a weekly thing, I just don't see it happening.
And that brings up the discussion that you and I shared last week in the messenger about, this decision has, taken a team like yourselves and racers, we're not going to make a living doing this stuff, but at the same time, you guys still have to sit down with the finances and look at your options and say, what makes financial sense? Because although we're not going to make a living doing this stuff, we certainly can't, get paddled on the backside weekend after weekend and make it a whole season.
No, not many guys at this level of racing can do this out of their own pocket. Teams like mine and, all of the teams, they need some sponsorship help. And those sponsors, if there's a track up the road, that is their target market. They want that car seen there. They don't want that car seen 2 hours away. No one's going to drive down here to get a pizza from 2 hours away. They're going to drive from 10 minutes away. So that right there in itself is a big pressure on race teams to keep their sponsors happy. That's not even taking into account, the added expense of fuel in the hauler to travel a distance, wear on a vehicle to tow that distance. In my case, I know I'm self-employed. For us to go to Outlaw on a Friday night, I have to close my business 2 hours early to make it there by the time we get through Elmira traffic, Watkins Glen traffic. So, not only are you spending money to go racing, you're cutting back on the money that's supposed to help pay for that racing.
Oh, absolutely. And that's been one of the points that I've tried to make in the last couple articles that we've put out is, talking about the fact that although you can MapQuest it and it says, oh, it's just an hour and 25 minutes down the road. I mean, we know realistically that's not exactly how long it takes you to get there. And it seems to me that these are some of the things that they're not taking into consideration. Things like that.
Absolutely. I think the first thing someone here from our region should do is mail IMCA headquarters a map of New York State. You take, for instance, someone that raced at I-88 before on a Friday night. Now that I-88 is no longer an IMCA track, if they feel forced to go to Outlaw, they're going to be going across the Finger Lakes. You don't drive through them, you drive around them. They're going to drive through Ithaca. They're going to drive through Watkins Glen. I-88 to Outlaw is 2 hours, a little over 2 hours according to MapQuest, 104 miles. It's going to be tough for a guy to do that. And looking, at MapQuest, I've kind of jotted down some notes. Last year, for the past several years, 5 Mile Point and Skyline are 49 minutes apart. They're 45 miles apart. From the Hill to Outlaw, you're talking an hour and 35 minutes, 71 miles. To Thunder Mountain, 64 miles. They're both further apart than Skyline and 5 Mile Point were, yet they had no problem with them being on the same night on Saturday nights. So, the distance thing just doesn't fly with me. There's something more to it. There's got to be.
And, to that point, I have struggled with trying to get an answer between phone call and email. I don't know what your experience is, but I'm getting stonewalled, and I'm sure after today's article came out, I'll get stonewalled for different reasons. But, for a team like yourself or anybody that you know of in the area, what's been the experience of people trying to reach out and at least trying to get a written statement of, look, this is why we've done what we've done?
I really can't say for the other racers in the area. I know several of them contacted IMCA. I don't know of anyone getting any type of a reply. I know I did send a communication to IMCA very respectfully, just asking for, some kind of an explanation. I have gotten, and this is the worst part for me, I find it offensive and insulting. I've gotten no reply. In the past several years that we've raced IMCA, anytime I have sent any type of communication to IMCA headquarters, they've responded within 24 hours. I've had very good luck that way. This, no response at all. They won't respond to the racers. They're ignoring the media like yourself. I just find it very offensive. We're the ones that support the sanction. We have for years. The least they could do is give us the courtesy of explaining why they're putting us in such a tight position. And they don't seem to be interested in doing that. And I kind of take offense to that. Other than that, I love IMCA. I love the sanction. I love how it operates. The rule book is 4 pages. I love these cars. I wouldn't be interested in owning anything else. Their contingency program and the things they have going there. I raced NASCAR modifieds for a couple of years and asphalt late models under NASCAR. IMCA, in my mind, is much better for the racer. It's not loaded top heavy. It spreads things around so all the racers can benefit. I am a strong supporter of IMCA and what they're doing. I just don't understand these decisions, and I don't understand their lack of communication to those of us that support them. I think that they need to stop and re-examine this. I think they need to understand that the Hill and Skyline Raceway, the Hill showed it last year, can run these cars without IMCA's sanction. But IMCA's sanction can't exist without us racers. They need us more than we need them. I think they need to take a good look at that, and I think they need to get that through their heads.
And Billy, even if they didn't change their mind, I feel like even a prepared statement, whether they distribute it on their website or they send a communication out to drivers on their mailing list or something, even if they didn't change their mind about the sanctioning, what a difference it would make, I think, for some people to just have something, some kind of communication to say, this is why we've done what we've done. We're sorry that for these two tracks, it's not going to work out. I feel like a lot of these racers would feel so much better about this, if there was something like that. What's your thought on that?
Absolutely. No one likes to be ignored. That's pretty much all we racers are asking for is, justify this, explain this to us, your way of thinking. It's no different than being at the track and there's a judgment call made and you don't agree with it. You go to ask the flagger, what were you thinking here, or what did you see? And they ran for their car as soon as the race was over and disappeared. A lot of times all it takes is, hey, this is the way I saw it from where I stood, and if you disagree, I'm sorry, but this is the way I saw it. And a lot of times that's all a racer's asking for is a viewpoint. And I think that their lack of communication is a big issue here. I've tried to look at this, from different angles from their standpoint, and a lot of that comes from being a former promoter. As far as the track or the Hill not running a full season last year, and the Glen Ridge and Thunder Mountain not running IMCAs in recent years, it depends on how IMCA looks at this. If they're saying that they want the track to have run a full season, not necessarily these types of cars, but just to have a full season under the promoter's belt so that they know that it's not a fly-by-night thing and he knows what he's doing, then I can understand them giving the sanction to a track that didn't run them last year, even though the Hill ran this type of car. I can understand them looking at it from that viewpoint, not from the standpoint of, hey, you haven't run these cars. As at some point they have to pick up a track that hasn't run them in the past. Most tracks won't run them without the sanction. So, I can see that from that standpoint, looking at it from a different angle. I really think that possibly something that some people haven't considered. So you're not only going to be awarding with contingencies and expense the track champion in the top, say, 10 in points. You're going to be doing the same thing with your state champion, which is going to be a carbon copy of the Hill's points. From that standpoint, it would not be that hard to overcome that. I don't think one racer would look at this as being unreasonable on IMCA's part if they were to say, look, because you guys are the only track in the state of Pennsylvania, we're going to give you your track points and contingencies, the same as we do any other track. We're going to give you your regional points. We're going to give you your national points. We're just not going to crown a state champion or give the contingencies through and the money through for your position in the state because you are the only track in the state. I can see IMCA being concerned about the expense of that. To me, the solution is very easy. But they didn't even come to anyone, if that is the case, and say, hey, work with us on this. They didn't give anyone a chance.
That's a great point. That's very, very, very well said. I've got a couple more questions here, Billy, if I can hang on to you here through the commercial break.
Okay.
All right. We've got more with Billy Maynard coming up next here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. but every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
Hi, race fans. This is Billy Dunn, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Billy Dunn bringing us back from commercial break here on Turn 5 Live, right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens coming to you on tonight's show, and we've got Billy Maynard on the line with us on the RaceChaserOnline.com hotline. Your motorsports your way every day. You can find them online and get your daily dirt track and NASCAR, F1, IndyCar news at RaceChaserOnline.com. Billy, I want to continue our discussion here, and for what time I've got left with you here, I think my big question for you and your team, with everything that's gone on and transpired, where does this leave you guys? I mean, this leaves you guys in a spot where, now you guys have got to make that decision of what are we going to do in 2017.
Our situation's a little unique with Jake being away at college. He's set to graduate in middle or late June. So that throws another aspect into this for our particular team that makes it more of a challenge. But originally our plan, should the Hill get the sanction, was to run there on Friday nights, and once we heard Thunder Mountain was sanctioned, probably try to support them on Saturday nights if we didn't get tore up bad on Friday nights and when money and time permitted. But under this situation, if we're not going to be sanctioned on Friday nights at the Hill, I just can't justify hauling 2 hours when there is a track literally 8 miles from my job, and I can take the car to work with me, so we can be there in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
If we're not going to run a sanctioned track on Friday night, then the half a dozen or 8 times we could possibly make Thunder Mountain, I just can't justify buying their license to go and run 6 or 8 races. So by not sanctioning the Hill, by trying to force us into going somewhere where we just can't make sense of it, they're hurting themselves on Saturday nights. It's another question mark as well with the Empire Series. No one really knows what's up with that. We haven't heard anything about that, but their selection of tracks is pretty limited and pretty far apart. So there again, what's the sense of buying the license if those tracks are the only options and they're that far apart? Because again, on Friday nights, if it's a series race, we would be giving up racing at the Hill. We wouldn't be racing for points there, so we would pretty much stick close to home and just bypass IMCA for the year. I hate to do that. I like to support the cars in the sanction, but it just doesn't make financial sense.
In your mind, Billy, does having or not having a regional director here for the guys in the Northeast, is that a big deal in your eyes, or is that something that you don't think is 100% necessary?
I think that it would be beneficial if they did have one, particularly when we're dealing with the geography issues, the time from track to track, what kind of traffic people are going to encounter. From the logistical standpoint, I think that it would be in their best interest to have one. I think it would be in their best interest to have a face out there for someone to tie in with IMCA, someone to go to if they, have a concern of some type. But I don't see it as a necessity. When it comes to tech, that is the track's responsibility to take care of that anyway. The regional director is more of a side promoter for IMCA. We haven't had one in quite a while. I don't see it as a necessity. I would like to see one, but it's not a deal breaker by any means.
Also, from your perspective, you've been a promoter in your past, and you've seen what the Lampheres are trying to do with the Hill. And although I've not seen racing action out there just yet, I have been on the grounds and seen what they're trying to do there. And it seems like they're on a really, really good path right now. As far as, having participated there and being a car owner for a car that will support that track, how have things gone so far at the Hill?
I have been nothing but impressed with everything they've done up there. They have made the place look phenomenal compared to what it originally was in a very short period of time, and I know they have other things in mind. They put their focus on the track surface, and it really paid off. They put down a beautiful surface, no rocks, lots of bite, little to no dust. First couple weeks, track was a little rough. Second week, it was a little dusty. But once the track crew figured the surface out a little bit and got working with it, built some equipment that would do what they were trying to do, I don't recall ever racing on a finer surface with the IMCA cars. All of the people up there that have put that place together, a lot of them are volunteer help, really don't get the credit they deserve, but they do it because they love the sport. And down in this area, the people are very enthusiastic and love that facility. It's got such a history in our area. A lot of these guys that are working at that track now grew up there watching their dads race there or their uncles. The spectators on a Friday night, the Hill is absolutely packed. The way the track is laid out, people can come back there, pick up, sit in the back with lawn chairs. It's the way racing used to be. And a lot of us will sit and say, I wish racing could go back to what it used to be. It's changed. This is an old-fashioned, down-home, family feel track. And the Lamphere family, I have known the Lampheres my entire life from before I was a teenager. My brothers are roughly the same age, and they all ran around together, so I know them all pretty well, the McKernans. I've watched what they've done. I know the connections, and I know, some people are concerned, well, the Lampheres race there, they own the track. Well, yes, they own the track, but Eddie McKernan is the promoter. I've watched Eddie penalize cars. I've watched Eddie disqualify friends, and that really impressed me. And I will admit that was one of our biggest concerns last year going there is how are things going to operate? What are we going to see? But when we went there, I was very impressed with how well they were about upholding the rules for everyone, regardless of who it was. I can't say anything detrimental or bad against the track regarding tech or officiating or anything that way. I was pleasantly surprised, and we went there with the attitude that we were going to give them the benefit of the doubt, give them a chance. If we saw something we didn't agree with, we'd go somewhere else. And we didn't see anything we didn't agree with, so we didn't go anywhere else, and we don't intend to this year either. But they definitely have put in a ton of effort, and they definitely deserve the IMCA sanction if it was solely based on effort.
I think that's the disappointing part for those that are so close to the situation, is because to me there's so much potential there. Like you said, racing the way it used to be, and all of those things you described, Billy, is that not IMCA in a nutshell?
That is exactly what IMCA is about. These cars, this division, and that's one of the things that we really love about it, is it's like a big family. When Outlaw had their big 2-day show the end of last year, Jake finished in a handicap or a redraw spot. The car broke, pulling off the scales. Our car is an older car. No one had the right clevis that broke on the bird cage, and we were really dejected, especially after Jake drew the pole. But Lamphere's had a bolt that we needed, and Bob Maynard had a welder, and we got the track welder over there to use the torch to get the car apart, and everyone jumped in. They were turning wrenches, doing whatever we needed. We got the car back out and had a pretty good night. So I see this over and over and over in this division. Guys are willing to help each other with parts any way they can. And I really hate to see guys have to choose between running IMCA or not. It's going to kind of split guys up a little bit for the time being until things settle in, but I guess it will be what it's going to be, and we'll all get through it somehow. I know personally, my opinion is I don't have to have IMCA. We can still race at the Hill without them, so if that's the way they want it, we'll go do it. And I think there's a lot of guys that feel the same way. I've sat here, and I've kind of made a list, and I can come up with 15 or maybe a couple more drivers here out of PA that probably would run the Hill definitely if it's sanctioned, and I can only think of 3 or 4 of them that might go elsewhere just because of the sanction. So there are 11 or 12 of us at least down here that IMCA is going to alienate just by not giving them the sanction. So I guess if they're willing to gamble that and lose that many drivers from their core pool of drivers, I guess that's their choice.
Man, Billy, great stuff tonight. I really appreciate your time and perspective tonight. It was absolutely what we were looking for tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, and really enjoy the show. Keep up the good work, and who knows, maybe someone will get an answer here soon.
Well, that's all we can hope for, is at least if no changes are made, we want to help you guys at least be heard in the matter. So good luck to you and Jake this season, man. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
All right. Billy Maynard joining us here on the RaceChaserOnline.com hotline. We got to step aside here. When we come back, we're going to hear from another driver. We've got Vince Vitale going to be on the show with us, talking about his move from big block modifieds to 360 sprint cars. We'll talk to Vince Vitale next, here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to
then
believe
what you're
this.
going to do is turn
Marcy
onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue
just broke up,
and go past
and apparently
the first 3
she's
lights,
happy
and
about
then take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
Then
think
drive
she's
5 more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who am
there.
I to judge, right?
Park
anyway,
on the right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust, the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is the voice, Shane Andrews of the Big Block Modified Super Dirt Car Series, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens with an interview for you here with Vince Vitale, who's going to be stepping out of the Big Block Modified ranks and stepping into a 360 sprint car here in 2017. We're talking to him on the RaceChaserOnline.com hotline. And first off, Vince, congratulations, man. That's got to be pretty exciting, your new deal.
It is. It's definitely exciting. It's something different, and I've been doing the sportsman modified thing for 22, 23 years, and now actually hopping in something else. I'm excited.
What was a frustrating year in 2016 kind of the catalyst for the change this year?
Yeah, well, actually, probably the last 3 years, it was progressing. It was getting bad. It was going downhill, and I made some changes last year. We brought on some people, and it didn't work out for us. And we battled the rest of the year, and it just wasn't working out. We knew that we needed to do some other things for the following year, and once we got to the end of the year and we're starting to think about what we needed to do and the cost of things, that's what really I was getting sick over it. So I just kind of said, why not? Let's try it at 360 and see where it goes.
I've heard from some drivers that have made that switch from big block modifieds to 360 sprints, talking about the amount of time invested in maintenance and how much less they felt it was with the sprint car. But you also have a good perspective on it as far as being less on the pocketbook as well.
Yes. We dabbled in it there a couple, I want to say 3 years ago. So I kind of knew where the price was on things and all that, and the difference, and just talking to everybody else, all the people in the whole sprint car world, it's a huge difference. And the money that you get out of it at the end of the night, you can have a bad night and still be able, you would be okay. Modified, there's just no way. You got to finish in the top 5, but with the talent that's out there now, it's hard. There's too many of them, and so it's time to. Because I'm doing it as a hobby, and it's time to do something different that I'm going to enjoy doing as a hobby without hurting my pocket as bad.
When you look at that, in your mind, is that something that should really be on everybody's radars in the next 5 years, maybe 3 years, looking at the cost of the sport?
Well, yeah, I do think that there's people out there that should be seeing this, and I feel that nobody's really caring. It's and no, the modified guys, they all see it, they all know it. A lot of the guys don't get together and just say, enough is enough. The sport is getting out of hand, and we need to do something. if they had the 358 guys, the 358s around here, there would have been no doubt in my mind that the sprint car would have never happened. I would have went to small block racing because it's cheaper that way. But they don't. Not one track around here will go with it. We have it at the end of the year when Super Dirt Week comes around, and we get, 2-3 races that are close, and the rest are all far away. And, I built the 358 because I thought there was going to be more, but this year there was less. So, I'm going to put the motor to good use and go 368 race, or 360 racing.
Talking about the 358s, I mean, that is really a division that, seems to have really gone by the wayside. There are some places that run them, but like you said, as far as, drivers in the Finger Lakes or Central New York is concerned, there's really not a lot of places to do them until Super Dirt Week comes around. Is it too late for that division to try and make a comeback? I know the W16 engine is coming, but is that something that is too late, or is that something the tracks could still get on board with?
My personal feeling, no, I don't think it's too late, because being a racer and talking to other racers like the sportsmen, you got a lot of good sportsman drivers out there that is looking to make the jump, but they're all scared to make that jump around here because they don't want to go big block racing, because they are, from what I'm just saying, that's why they won't do it. So they stay with the sportsmen. So if there was, they would make that jump, and you would have that newer guys coming into the modified world, because it's not that bad because of the small block, that great deal, or that new motor that's coming out. I think, it would be definitely worth it for that guy to go into it. But, it's up to the track owners, and it's up to other people to make this happen.
And so in the meantime, you've got an opportunity to jump into the sprint car, and you talked about you had a few races of experience there. And here you're another great example of a modified driver making the transition to sprint cars. From what you can recollect from those races that you've run, how do you think that transition is going to go?
Well, at least I'll have it already in my head of what it was like. It's definitely been, quite a few years since I've been in it. So I got to start all over. I am going to definitely be very nervous the first time going out there. It's definitely a whole different ball game compared to what I'm used to driving. You're on the throttle more in a sprint car than you are with a big block. So, that habit of getting off of the throttle, I got to, get in the habit of staying into the throttle, getting into the corner. So, and that was hard for me last time to get that out of my head, that I need to be on the throttle to keep the car turning. So, other than that, I think we're going to do all right. I'm going to, pace myself at the beginning. I think that, for a little bit, I'm going to start in the back no matter what, get my, feet wet and get used to it. And I don't want to screw anybody up, because I think sometimes I'm too nice, but I don't want to screw anybody up.
Yeah. What are you looking to follow a full-time series, or are you looking to run as many races as you can?
Well, over the years in the modified, I did do some series racing and this and that, and I spent a lot of time away from home and was in the shop a lot. And I think this year we're going to take a little bit more of a step back, which it already is going to be, because the maintenance is not as critical as a big block. There's more in a big block than there is a sprint car. And so we're just going to concentrate close in my area, maybe hit a few away ones depending. I'm not going to Canada. I'm going to stay away from that. But other than that, I'm just going to keep it up in the air and see how it goes. So there's some things that I would like to do this summer with my family and that I haven't done, and then just go from there.
As far as tracks that you've raced in a modified that you're looking forward to racing in a sprint car, do you have any in mind?
I can't wait to go back to Canada. I've always done well there when I was in a sportsman and a modified. Fulton is my second, but Canada was my first, and I can't wait to get back there because when I was in the sprint car there a few years ago, I started on the outside pole, and we let it quite a few laps until my rear end let loose. So I'm kind of curious if maybe I can tackle that.
Yeah. Is there any tracks you have in mind that, maybe not make you nervous, but just, that if you guys go there, that would, put your skills to the challenge, tackling with the sprint car?
I would say Brewerton's going to be that track. It's always been a challenge for me in the past, even with the other cars. It's a smaller track, so I'll probably be a little bit more nervous there. There's other tracks that I haven't been. We went to Rolling Wheels. I don't know if Rolling Wheels will have one or not, or even if I go, I roll the sprint car there. I'll definitely be nervous if I go back there and see if I can get around there again. So, yeah, Brewerton and Rolling Wheels.
And are you guys going to be looking to kind of unveil things in March for the car show there in Syracuse?
Yes, I believe, Dean Reynolds sent us a message asking if we were going to be there, if we would like to be there, and sure, as long as I can, get everything together, that's where she'll be. That's where it'll all start.
And we saw the photo pop up on Facebook the other day. Are you looking to kind of stick with that familiar color scheme we've seen the 56 car with?
I definitely like black, so that's with that yellow number, so it'll be probably a little bit different than what I normally have, but, we'll see.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time talking about the transition here, and we wish you a lot of luck. Talk to us about some of the folks that make it happen for your guys' team.
Well, definitely, the guys that really been helped me a lot is the Donnet brothers, Sean and Brian. I talk to them pretty much every day about stuff. And Jason Barney, I've been talking to him too. I can't thank them enough. And my wife is a big help for me. It took a lot between both of us to make this decision to move to the sprint car world. And Vitale companies is on my side. They're, my family, so my whole family is supporting it as much as they can. And that's it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll look forward to seeing the 56 car up there in March.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what everybody says about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing them going home tonight and seeing what the Facebook is doing right now.
Well, it's been active for sure, so Good luck with everything, and we appreciate having you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Vince Vitale getting ready to go 360 sprint car racing in 2017. We'll step aside here. When we come back, more dirt track discussion and news here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Otto Sitterly, driver of the Nicotra Racing number 7, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. We have talked IMCA, we've talked big block modifieds, we've talked 360 sprint cars. Now it's time to talk about the Chili Bowl. Break out the grated Parmesan. It is time to go racing in Tulsa, Tom Baker.
Yes, indeed it is. Time to go racing in Tulsa for sure. I am excited to be on Turn 5 tonight and ready to talk some Chili Bowl. We've had a neat bunch of heat races already and the lineups for the mains going up. So it's been an interesting first day. I think we've had, 5 or 6 hashtag flip count issues today. So including Ross Weiss. Poor Ross. Getting turned over. Yeah, Ross was, I think, the third one to turn over, but I think they got him fixed.
And, we were talking on Motorsports Madness last night, Tom, and we'll bring Jacob Seelman in here as well. This was Ross's not just first attempt at the Chili Bowl, this was Ross's first attempt at racing an automobile.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. Steve, I'm just going to say it like it is. Ross has not had a good day. He's really not had a good day. Flipped in hot laps, not well in the heat. didn't start the D. He told me over the weekend, I'm probably going to be at the back of every main they have, but you know what? I'm going to have fun while I'm doing it. And I think that's, that there was one camera shot from the pit area tonight where I caught a glimpse of that pit area, and here's Ross buzzing around, all smiles. I loved it. Well, he's having fun. That's what matters.
Hey, think about it. He's had the full experience of the Chili Bowl all in one day. He's flipped. Yes. He's running the back. He's blew a motor last night, flipped tonight. It's been he's gotten the whole array of Chili Bowl experience, and I'm sure he'll never forget it.
I can see it now, guys. All the dirt track fans listening to us tonight are all shaking their heads and saying, yep, that's a full weekend right there.
Yep. That's exactly right. And you know what, Steve? It's going to make the first Open Red podcast of the year for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series an absolute riot.
Oh, no doubt about it. Jacob, let me turn to you for a second here. As far as what we've seen today so far, has there been anything that stood out as surprising or would make our listeners tonight say, oh, wow, I didn't expect that here on night number one?
You know what? Yes, absolutely. There's a couple things that stand out to me, as a matter of fact. Number one, the fact that Seth Bergman flipped, Steve, and came back to win his heat race in the opening heat. That, to me, stands out as something that I wouldn't have expected. The usual suspects won heat races for the most part. Alex Bright, who won the preliminary night, the Warren Cat night a year ago, won his heat race. Tony Bruce Jr. won a heat. Zach Dahm won a heat. Tyler Courtney won a heat. But it's the guys like Matt Sherrill, the guys like Steven Chevester, those names that you don't hear very often. Those were a couple of surprises in tonight's Budweiser heat races that really did surprise me. And Kyle O'Gara, too, who's never had any luck at the Chili Bowl, Sarah Fisher's brother-in-law. Kyle won a heat race tonight, and that, to me, is one that really stands out because he's been good in a midget, but he's been horrible at the Chili Bowl every time he's come there. He's just never been able to figure out that racetrack. So those last three, Sherrill, Chevester, and O'Gara, those are the ones that stand out to me as the three guys that I didn't expect to run tremendously well tonight that really came out, Steve, and surprised me. Other than that, the usual suspects were the usual suspects. Kyle Larson is towards the top of the passing points order, and he's going to be pretty much fine all night long. In fact, he starts on the pole, by the way, for the VacuWorks International Race of Champions, the 20-lap race before tonight's A feature. So, I mean, if you're Kyle Larson, it's already been a tremendous night, Tom.
Well, and how about Joey Saldana finishing second in his heat? I thought that was pretty interesting. And, of course, New Yorker.
It was interesting maybe, but not surprising.
No, not saying surprising. Just wanted to point it out. And, of course, I also want to point out New Yorker Larry White getting third in his heat, starting fifth, finishing third. Larry once again showing that he is strong at the Chili Bowl. Love to see that kid make the A-main.
You know what? I would too. And Steve, I think you can speak better than any of us to this. Last year when Larry went to the Chili Bowl and kind of shocked the world, we all kind of bugged our eyes out of our heads and went, huh? But this year, Larry's done consistently well again, and I'm really happy for him. Lightning Larry, we haven't seen tonight's lineup for the main events yet because we have not run we've got to get to the qualifiers. But I think it stands to reason that he's going to be up there. He's going to have a pretty good shot at this tonight. And I would not be surprised. I'll call him a dark horse to finish top three and lock into the main, believe it or not, because I feel like he's proven that he's got that kind of speed. I just came across something, Steve. I want to go back to what you said a minute ago. What should fans be surprised at? I found one that fans should be surprised at. Zach Dahm having to come out of a C main tonight in order to even have a shot at locking in. That, to me, is very surprising. Zach's a three-time not Dom, Brad Loyette. Wow, I'm getting my numbers crossed here. My 5s and my 05s are all. You got to keep in mind, there's like 30 different repetitive car numbers tonight. Brad Loyette, who's former 3-time POWRi champion, and to see him in a C main is ridiculous, Tom. Forgive me for getting all spun out here, but when there's 375 cars, that can happen just a little bit. And there's like 6 5 cars tonight. That's why I'm confused.
I was wondering if you were actually talking about Loyette because Zach won his heat. So
Zach won his heat. That's I was looking at the 1-5 that won his heat and the other 5 that starting in a C main. I'll get it right by the end of the night.
Well, and Jacob, you're talking about Larry. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, last year was his rookie season and almost shocked the world at how well he did. And so that was such a great building blocks for them to come back this year and improve on that. And boy, they set the bar high to do that, didn't they?
They set the bar very high to do that. Boy, oh boy. I really don't know what to expect with them this year other than the world, and that's really hard to do unless you're Matt Shepard on a year-to-year basis. But whether it's at the Chili Bowl or in Northeast competition, Steve, he just came out and did so well last year. It's like, why not expect the world at this point? Because he's proven he's capable of doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, we were talking about the Race of Champions lineup, Jacob.
Larson and Abreu on the front row.
Yeah, but listen to the top 5. I mean, yes, you could go all the way down through the list and, the names stand out. But here's the top 5. Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu, row 1. Row 2, Dave Darland, J.J. Yaley. And Brady Bacon rounding out the top 5. That's going to be a slugfest for 20 laps.
Yeah, it will. By the way, that's why they call it the Race of Champions. That race is made up of past Chili Bowl winners, past Chili Bowl car owner champions that are allowed to pick their driver to run a car for the Chili Bowl, and then a couple of wild card entries, Steve. So, sorry, not wild card entries. The former National Midget Drivers of the Year that are not already in via A or B get in as the wild card entries. So, that's the best of the best of the best in midget car racing, period. And, oh, by the way, I'm not even picking any of those 5 to win the race, though I think Larson's going to finish second. You know who my pick is to win the Race of Champions?
Who's that?
Jacob?
He's starting 12th. I went there. Slammin' Sammy gets number 5.
Jacob, I thought we were going to have our Ryan Seacrest moment there for a second.
I don't.
You know what?
That mean? I'm not that mean.
I don't.
Tom and I still have to pick our Race of Champions picks, and we'll do it next here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network,
After
the voice of motorsports.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend, my brother, my poor grandchild,
My sister.
My father.
my husband, my mom, my mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust, the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is Chuck Hebing, and you're listening to Turn 5 live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stephen Ovens, Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker joining you here on the program tonight. We are talking Chili Bowl to get us through the next three segments of Turn 5 Live here. It's a great week to be a dirt track fan as the Chili Bowl is here. We've got racing tonight, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and the main events all the way from the double O main all the way to the A main on Saturday.
That is the uh-oh.
Right.
That is the uh-oh main. That's what that is.
Yeah, Jacob, we've got there's a lot happening tonight, but we've got a race on the track now. I believe one of the C mains is out on the track, and you've got a great point about that main. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this is a name I know that you actually pointed out to me on Motorsports Madness, because it's a name that, actually a couple of names, I guess, that you're familiar with up there in New York, Steve. Glenn Stiers in the first C main that's on track right now, alongside Brad Loyette, who I was trying unsuccessfully to talk about earlier. And then that second C main has Glenn Saville starting sixth in that C main. So a couple of New Yorkers that we see, or at least Northeast faithful fans know well, in these two C mains tonight. Not a ton of Northeast names in this first program, but a lot coming later in the week.
Yeah, that's right. And everybody is got the rest of the week circled, because we've got names like Tim McCready and although not a New Yorker, Dylan Westbrook. That could be a dark horse pick to keep your eye on, because he really showed what he had here in the Northeast, racing not only micro sprints but 360 sprint cars as well.
Right.
And now Jacob made his pick, Tom, for the Race of Champions that'll be running later on tonight. But you and I have got to pick a driver here, and Jacob going with Slam and Sammy, going away from the 12th spot. These guys have 20 laps to get the job done. My question to you, Tom Baker, Kyle Larson and Rico Abreu on the front row. Is that where you go with your pick?
My first thought is that's a recipe for a big wreck, isn't it? those two guys.
Stop it!
Those two guys dicing it out. That's a recipe for a big wreck right there. I think you have to. I mean, how do you pick against either of those two guys, really? It's just a question of which one is leading at the end. And I'm just going to go ahead and go with Rico because I can. But I think the winner comes from that front row. Happy to see Tim McCready in there at 7th. And I had picked Tanner Thorson to win the overall Chili Bowl. So I'm going to watch him coming from 14th. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Rico Aber to win the IROC race.
Well, keep in mind, guys, they drew actually a blind pill draw for their starting spots in this race earlier on the front straightaway this evening. So it was anybody's guess where these guys were going to start. And, you put two Keith Coons cars drawing pill 1 and pill 2, and you'd think that's a recipe for an easy win. But the reason I picked Sammy, Steve, is because he's proven winning the Chili Bowl 5 times. It doesn't matter where he starts, and it doesn't matter how many laps you give him. He's going to get there before the end of it. That's just my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It would be real easy for me to go with the homer pick and take T-Mac coming from 7th tonight. But
he could do it.
I think I like Tom's pick about Tanner Thorson. I think Tanner Thorson can get the job done from 14th.
Whoa!
You heard it. Kidding me? You heard it here first.
Wow. Okay. I picked him for Saturday, not for this. Wow.
So there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So Steve says, I'll see your Slammy and raise you a Tanner Thorson from 2 spots further back. Wow.
T-squared, man. We're going to the front.
T-squared. Yeah, it's, well, hey, I would be surprised, actually. In that short of a race with Larson and Aber on the pole and some guys like Brady Bacon and McCready and even Shotzi up there in the mix, Chad Boat, I just can't see either Swindell or Thorson winning, but I certainly can see them getting there.
Let's talk about the rest of tonight, because you've got the Race of Champions coming up, but we also have an A main tonight, Jacob, that's going to see 3 drivers qualify their way into the big show on Saturday night. So let's talk about what we've got coming up tonight, and who are you going with here for Tuesday night?
Well, it would be a whole lot easier if I could see the qualifier lineups, but they haven't officially published those yet, so I kind of have to guesstimate the best I can and go off of what I see here. And what I see is a couple of things. Number one, Alex Bright has picked up right where he left off a year ago. I think he finishes 3rd. I don't think he wins again, but I think he does transfer. I like Seth Bergman. I can't believe I'm saying that, but you know what? All his sprint car experience seems to have translated okay over to the midget, and Seth has done a really, really good job so far, rallying from a flip in the opening hot lap session to win his heat. I think Seth transfers, but the guy I am picking to win is the same guy that I picked to win on Monday night. I'm sticking with it because he does it so often here. He was going to win his qualifying night for like the 3rd year in a row until he got into a little trouble and still rallied from the back of the field to finish 7th last year. Young money, Kyle Larson. Done.
All right, Tom. Tuesday night, again, 3 drivers are going to make it into the show in the A-Main on Saturday. But who is it going to be standing up on top here tonight?
Alex Bright gets it done.
Back to back. I like
Tuesday
it.
Night, back to back. And I'm going to keep my eye on Zach Daum too, because I think Zach's going to be tough, and I would not be surprised to see Larry White factor in this. I mean, Larson's a nice, obvious pick, but I like to go with somebody a little different. Alex Bright, I think, is a guy that definitely has a shot at this.
My 2 cents is that as long as Larson doesn't take himself out of it, he's going to win. The only reason he didn't win his preliminary night last year is because he took himself out of it.
Well, we got an IROC race coming up. Hang on. I'm telling you, that's a scary front row right there.
That's the backup car.
Well, okay. I mean, if that's a backup, then he's probably safe. But it's definitely, to me, a scary front row with those two in it. But I like Alex Bright. He does well on these nights, and I think he's underrated. I don't think people respect him enough. Bright and Dom, I think, are both definitely going to be factors in this tonight.
Dom will be. Dom's my first man out, actually. I say he comes close, but I think he finishes fourth.
Well, we'll find out.
I think, guys, for tonight, finished second in his heat race. I like Joey Saldana tonight. I really do.
There's another one. I mean,
but I'm going to throw this in there, too, because I will not be shocked if Aaron Reitzel has something to say about it tonight either. So those are the two guys I'm keeping my eye on.
You know what's fun about this is you look at when you think about 350, over 350 entries, whatever it is, and you look at just this group here, we're talking about these guys, and you look at who we're not talking about, it's just, really. What other race anywhere do you see this type of a group, this eclectic of a group of drivers, and be able to watch them and say, this is only one night of qualifying? It's incredible.
I know.
It really is.
Yeah, no, that is pretty incredible. Looking at this, and so we've talked about what we have going on tonight, guys. Shall we dive into Wednesday night? What do we say?
Sure.
Oh, right. Sure. Why not?
So let's talk a little bit about Wednesday night, as we've got some. There's big names all the way across the board. I mean, but. Jacob, if we could, I kind of like this format of picking your winner and maybe even throwing in a dark horse. So as we look down through the roster on Wednesday, I'll let you get a pick and I'll let you get a dark horse.
Well, my pick's easy. My pick is the guy who's won the last two Chili Bowls. And he's not only going to win on Hard Rock Casino qualifying night on Wednesday, he's going to win another Chili Bowl because that's just what he seems to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Rico Abreu is going to do it on Wednesday night. And not only is he going to do it on Wednesday night, he's going to do it on Saturday night. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, dark horses is where this gets fun because I think Wednesday is one of the most fun lineups of drivers and race cars out of this year's entire Chili Bowl, because there's just so many guys that you're like, wait, what? It's fantastic, really. So my dark horse for Wednesday night to qualify in, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. A rookie to make the A main, the 15 Donnie Schatz. Boom.
When's the last time we said rookie and Donnie Schatz in the same sentence?
About 5 years ago.
Wow. So
Schatz,
you think Schatzy's going to make it to Saturday night?
I think I think he's going to find a way. I really, really do. I believe in that team. It's got Tim Clausen's name on it, and they're all driving for Brian. I believe in it. I really do.
All right, Tom, you and we're going to have to give it some thought over the break here. When we come back, we'll go through the rest of our picks throughout the week. If we get any results coming up here on the tweeter, we'll give those to you. But stay tuned. You're listening to Turn 5 Live right here on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep. And my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled. Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruising tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network, your source for motorsports.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is Gary Tompkins, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network, talking Chili Bowl 2017. And Jacob, what do you got for us, brother? You got a massive point here for us.
I called it a massive point. It's maybe not that massive, but
it is for
Brad Loyette just made me look really good during this last break. We just finished the first of our 12-lap C mains. Brad Loyette, I was talking about him, got spun out talking about him, and said how surprised I was that he was in a C main, being a 3-time POWRi National Midget Champion. Well, he looked like that 3-time POWRi National Midget Champion. Drove from 8th to the win in C main number 1. He'll go to the back of B main number 1 later on tonight. Hello. That's a fast hot rod.
The question is, Jacob, he does have to go to the back of the B main. Can he get it done and put it in tonight's A? That's a tough field.
It's a very tough field. I'm not sure he comes all the way through the B, and I think it's 15 laps in order to make it to the A main, but I'd say he's going to come close. I don't think he quite gets there, but I'd say he's going to come close.
All right. Getting back to our picks, we're up to Wednesday night, Hard Rock Casino night, and Tom, you've got a pick for the win, and then a dark horse or a driver that has caught your eye, and you're going to be watching to see how they perform.
Pick to win for tomorrow night's Hard Rock Casino night is Jacob's pick for the IROC race. Slavin Sammy Swindell gets the job done, and the one I'm watching may be even a bigger shocker than the one Jacob's watching, but I think Jacob will agree with this. I am really keeping my eye on young Austin Niemeyer in the 4-car. Yes. I think Austin has the chance to qualify in and make it to Saturday's A-Main. I think there's a chance he locks. Austin is a superb young talent. But, of course, just for 2 other guys to discuss, you've got both David Gravel and lost my other guy. Parker Price Miller was the other guy I wanted, both in the field on Wednesday as well, and I think both of those guys have a chance to do well also.
Can I give one more driver that it's not a dark horse to qualify for the A, but it's a driver that I feel like deserves to be watched throughout tomorrow night's qualifying night?
Go for it.
Logan Seavey, who should have been a Chili Bowl rookie last year, and then rules happened and things, and he couldn't actually race the car he hot lapped, and it was a really long, convoluted deal. But Logan has a ride this year. He's back. He's ready to go, and this is a driver that, Tom, you and I have seen in the mini outlaw carts like what run at Millbridge and what run out at Cycleland Speedway out in California. Logan is a product of those. He has done remarkably well, and I think he is going to do himself well. I think he makes his preliminary night A main. I don't think he's in contention for the podium to lock in on Saturday, but I do think he makes the A main. I think he's got a good enough car, and Logan's a good enough driver all the way around to be able to do it.
My pick for Wednesday night's win on Hard Rock Casino night, I am going with David Gravel.
Whoa!
David, yes, that David Gravel, who was second high in the tally for wins on the World of Outlaws this year. And I just think that, David Gravel comes into this event driving the 5E car. He comes in with a swagger about him that we haven't seen in, maybe ever in his career. And so I think Gravel gets it done. And as far as a dark horse pick, I feel like Tom was looking at my scorecard. I want to talk to the judges here. I think there was some wiretapping happening here. Because I do like Parker Price Miller tomorrow night as well. I want to keep my eye. I don't know if he can qualify it to the A main, but I feel like he could put on a really good show trying to make it happen. So
yeah, it's going to be a fun field tomorrow. Shotzi's in it too.
Yeah, Shotzi's in it. I'm looking down through here. You've also got Johnny Herrera.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, veteran racer without a doubt. Brendan Bright is going to be in the field. We could go on for days.
Carson McCall, Terry's son. Yeah.
Blake Hahn. So
who is another driver that warrants watching. That's, he's done a lot in the ASCS sprint cars, and Blake, has never had a ton of luck. I mean, you would think that wouldn't be the case when your grandfather's the guy who promotes the Chili Bowl every year, but Blake's had zero luck for over the years in this race, so I'd like to see him do really, really well. I'm glad somebody brought that up, because the Hahn name, I mean, without Blake's family, we wouldn't even have a Chili Bowl, so that's important. That's right there. But he needs a good run.
Definitely. Let's move on to John Christner Trucking Night. That's Thursday, January 12th, and boy, you've got so many great names here. Jacob, I'm looking to you toward your Thursday night winner and your dark horse pick.
Please pause while I continue the theme that I have had for the first two qualifying nights. And this driver is going to be another repeat qualifying night winner, because he's done it before. Keith Kuhn's car, again.
Ding, ding,
Christopher
ding.
Bell.
Yep. Ding goes the bell.
Ding goes the bell. That's my winner. Dark horse, I'm very, very, very torn on this. There's a couple of drivers that I feel like deserve mentioned as a dark horse, and I'm gonna go with two here, Steve. One that I truly think is a dark horse to make the A main, and another one that I really don't know where he's going to be as a dark horse, but at the very least, he's going to make it exciting. My dark horse to make the A main is another Keith Kuhn's car. It's actually the 01 of Sheldon Haudenschild in one of 9, count them, 9 Keith Kuhn's cars. I say Sheldon has a fantastic shot, and I think he will challenge to make the A main on Saturday night, or make, advance into the A-Main for Saturday night. My other dark horse that I have no clue what he's going to do. He's a stone cold rookie, but he kind of followed the Logan Seavey path to get to the Chili Bowl. Albany, Oregon, driving for Johnny Herrera.
Yes.
I'm looking to Bryson James
my mind.
to do something very, very exciting during John Christner Trucking Night on Thursday. I think that young man is going to be a tremendous amount of fun to watch.
Here's the stat of the night for you, Jacob.
Oh?
In a field of 375 cars, Keith Kuntz has 2.5% of them.
That's a stat that I would come up with.
You get a Kuntz car, and you get a Kuntz car, and you all get a Kuntz car.
Everybody gets a Kuntz car. By the way, I want to run down the list, by the way, of Keith Kuntz drivers, just to say we've done it. Sheldon Haudenschild, Ryan Robinson, Tanner Thorson, Holly Shelton, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Rico Abreu, Spencer Baston. Oh, gosh. I knew I would get to 8 and then forget the last one. Now it's going to kill me the rest of the night.
Is that a race team or a fantasy team?
Both.
Both? Exactly.
Very much both.
Wow. All right, Tom. Actually, Tom, before you give us your race winner pick, I'm toying with the idea that we might have a unanimous vote here for Thursday night's winner. Is that true?
No.
Oh, he's going to party.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, here again, that would be Chris Bell's the obvious pick, but it's not like he's the only great driver, and I'm a little surprised that Jacob didn't go here, not necessarily for his winning pick, but I am going to go with the 5X of Justin Peck to win the night on Thursday. Laugh, if you will.
If you just jinxed him, I will kick you.
I can't jinx him worse than he's been jinxed the last couple of years. Justin Peck wins on Thursday night. And my dark horse, actually, that I'm watching, and again, I'm surprised he's not even getting a mention here. It's almost like there's just no love here for Justin Allgaier. But you know what? Gator's not bad at this stuff.
Justin's not a dark horse, though. Not in my mind.
Oh, well, I think he's kind of a dark horse here. But I agree with you, too. I'm Bryson James, and I was going to mention him as my second one. But here's one that we haven't talked about yet that we better be keeping our eye on, too, folks. Cody Swanson in the 38 car, because I think Cody's got a shot at this, too. But I'm going with Justin Peck. It's about time he gets off the schneid here, and he's talented enough to do it, and the equipment's there. I think Justin wins Thursday night.
Well, I'm just going to say it, Christopher Bell. I'm going with him.
Thank you. I
know it.
I just wanted to go someone different.
I know it's the easy pick, but there's a reason why it's the easy pick.
Because he does it all the time.
He does. He is just that good. Dark horse pick, though, and I love the story here. The Kunkletown kid, Ryan Smith.
Oh, that's right.
Absolutely.
I forgot. I went right by him. Yep, you're right. Yep.
Yes. Now, Jacob, fill me. I want to make sure I get the name right. This is a team being fielded by Alex Bowman, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
That is very correct.
All right. So I'll score 2 points. And, of course, the points don't count for anything, but 2 points to Steve. And 2.5 points for the stat of the night. So
there you go.
We
4.5 point lead.
Yeah, that's right. We'll move on to Friday night, VacuWorks night. And Tom, I think it was you that said this either on last week's show or last night on Madness. Friday, I mean, how fun is Friday night's lineup?
It's stacked. It's absolutely stacked. I mean, you can't get. Yes, there are many drivers who we just talked about that aren't running Friday, but this, I mean, if you look at one day out of the bunch, Friday night for me is it. I mean, you just can't get any thicker and more picks that we could go with to win and have them be legit. It isn't like Christopher Bell isn't the obvious one on Thursday. There is no obvious one on Friday. I don't care who you favor here. There's probably 10 or 12 of these guys that are real legitimate picks to win.
Now, as far as who you're going to take on Friday, as far as your winner and your dark horse, who do you have?
Oh, you're going to let me go first this time?
We're going to switch it up here for Friday.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to speak out of turn here. Okay, so, wow, for Friday, look, I picked him for Saturday. I'll pick him for Friday, too. Tanner Thorson. I think Thorson gets it done on Friday over the all-star field. There's hardly a dark horse in this field. They're all great drivers. I guess if you're going to make me pick somebody that probably we wouldn't necessarily put at the front of the field, I guess I would go with somebody like Billy Weiss, perhaps, or maybe even, I don't know that Darren Pittman is necessarily a dark horse in anything, but those two are the two that kind of come to mind for me on Friday out of this group. But there's just a ton of, I mean, we could go down through this field for the next hour and a half and not accurately cover everybody.
You mentioned Tanner Thorson, and I don't know, Jacob, if we mentioned this when we were picking our VIROC champions. If Tanner Thorson makes me a winner tonight from 14th, that would be 2 VIROC championships in a row for him.
Yes, it would be, as a matter of fact. Very, very astute observation there, sir.
All right, I'll go to you, Jacob, here for Friday night's picks.
Well, considering you let Tom go first, that means technically he took I'm taking his pick instead of the other way around. But if you'd gone the right order, it would have been my pick first. Thorson wins the night. Just saying. That's not even Tanner has come on so strong. He really has. To win the USAC National Midget Championship the way he did, and just to do what he did this past year after the Gold Crown Midget Nationals is just been amazing to watch. He's the hottest driver right now in a midget coming into this race. So I think Tanner's the very smart pick, even if it is easy. My dark horse, though, oh boy. I thought Wednesday was hard. Friday's almost equally so. But you know what? I'm going to go with a driver for my dark horse that shouldn't be a dark horse, I guess you'd say, but only because of the fact that he's never had much luck at the Chili Bowl, I guess makes him a dark horse. I'm actually going to go with one of the Clausen Marshall cars, the 39 BC of California's Justin Grant, as my dark horse. I think Justin is going to do some great things. He's due at the Expo Center, and I like Justin to qualify in and make the A-Main through his qualifying night. I really do.
Quick plug for Davey Hamilton Jr. as well. I'm going to be watching to see if he can do anything in his first Chili Bowl attempt. Should be fun.
Fair enough.
All right. Friday night winner. Are you sitting down, Jacob?
Yeah, you're scaring me.
I know who he's picking, I bet, but go ahead.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Wow.
Okay. What?
I'm not sure that's really I don't know if that's are you sitting down pick, is it really?
Well,
maybe not.
I know that obviously the talent level is there, but I don't think he would be on your top 3 picks to take the win. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
That's fair.
But as far as dark horse pick though goes, there's something about the Chili Bowl that there's a name that always emerges from the Chili Bowl. And this is the kind of event that a great run can change that driver's career or set it in a certain direction. And we talked about him a little bit, I believe, last night, but I think that Chad Boat could really open up some eyes.
That's what I thought you were going to pick to win.
Yes.
To that 84X machine.
Well, Steve, I'm going to be honest. If his sweep of the Belleville Nationals last summer didn't open your eyes to Chad Boat, Man, I'm really surprised at that. I was hemming and hawing with Chad to be a pick to win, and I just couldn't make myself stray from Thorson to pick him to win. I think Boat's going to be an easy qualifier to Saturday. I mean, he's did everything but win the USAC championship, and the stock is very high there. I think that's a great pick. I like that 84 team, and I like that 84 team to contend on Saturday too.
All right. So we have done our picks for all of the qualifying nights. We've got to step aside here. We're going to compile what we've got on Twitter, see what updates we can give you before we get off the air tonight. But when we come back, we also have one last order of business. We've got to pick Saturday's A-Main winner, and we'll do it next here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Matt Shepard, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Super Matt Shepard, after this past weekend being crowned Northeast Driver of the Year by the Eastern Motorsports Press Association.
In the category of drivers I want to see run the Chili Bowl one day.
Ah, yes.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yes. That would be something. Oh, man, that would be cool.
Sorry, had to get that in there.
No, you're absolutely right, though. That would be fantastic.
Okay, so just a second, Steve. Before we make our picks for Saturday's A-Main, I want to clarify something. I said there were 9 Coons cars, and the photo that Keith put out on Twitter a couple of weeks ago showed 9 cars in their race shop. ready to go to Chili Bowl. But I could only come up with 8 drivers. The reason for that is on the official entry list, there's only 8 drivers from Keith Kunz Motorsports entered. So I named them all: Bell, Larson, Abreu, Shelton, Haudenschild, Baston, Ryan Robinson, and Tanner Thorson. The 9th car in the picture, for anybody that's seen it, it's a cool panoramic, is Tanner Thorson's title-winning USAC National Midget car that I believe went on the trailer as a backup car in the event that somebody happens to derf it on their qualifying night and need it, basically.
Derf.
All right. So hopefully they won't be needing that.
Correct.
And if they do, it's there. And that brings us, guys, to our Saturday night A-Main picks. I think that I know what direction a few of us are heading. And Jacob,
I already know who my pick is.
Jacob, I'm gonna go ahead and open the floor. The floor is yours.
My answer is simple. 2-time is going to become 3-time and do something only Kevin Swindell has won in winning 3 or more Chili Bowls in a row. Open the history books for Rico Abreu. Done.
Rico Abreu for Jacob Seelman. Tom Baker, open up your envelope. Reveal your championship-winning driver.
T-squared. Tanner Thorson gets it done. Not hemming and hawing here. I believe Tanner Thorson wins Friday and comes right back and wins again on Saturday.
I think I may be going with a different pick that I gave you guys last night, but
did Steve think about it?
I did, and you know, the thing about my driver is he's always there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just double check here because I want to make sure I'm right on this, but this driver hasn't won a Chili Bowl yet he's always there at the end of the event. I'm going with Christopher Bell.
Yes, he's never won one, but he's always there, Steve. You're right. He's got a couple of podium finishes in the big show, but he's never gotten the Golden Driller. And if it's going to be a first-time winner, as much as I like the idea of Tanner Thorson, if it's going to be a first-time winner, I think Bell's due.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was taking a look at where we are as far as results go. We're through both of the C mains. So they're going to be lining everything up for the B mains. So if you're
actually, Steve, the qualifiers will roll off and then the B mains.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yep. That is correct. So we're starting to get through night number 1 here, and with what time we've got left here, Jacob, we've got just a couple of minutes to wrap things up here. Give me the Chili Bowl synopsis for anybody that's listening tonight and saying, I think I might have to tune into this thing.
If you haven't gotten the pay-per-view from Racing Boys, do it. You will see something that you have never seen before. If you've never seen the Chili Bowl, by God, please watch it. Do some, if nothing else, watch the finale on MAV TV Saturday night. 375 cars getting whittled down to the 24 best in the country is a party and a product like no other. This year's event has already, for me, exceeded expectations with the racing I've seen already. The Race of Champions tonight is going to be fantastic, and I think Saturday night's race with the cars, with the field, with the drivers that we have here will be a Chili Bowl for the ages. If you liked last year, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Tom, any last thoughts here about the 2017 Chili Bowl?
350 plus cars.
375.
375. That's my thought for the day. I just can't even imagine where they're all parked. I can't imagine how they shoehorned them in there. And I agree with Jacob. If you miss this Chili Bowl, you are just not a race fan if you can access it, because this is a one-of-a-kind, unique event that everybody ought to watch. And if you can get the whole package, watch the nightly qualifiers and then watch the Chili Bowl. It is a race like nothing else you'll ever see.
Thank you, boys, for being on the program tonight.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having us.
it. And We will be back here next Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. for a new edition of Turn 5 Live. I want to thank Billy Maynard as well as Vince Vitale for being on the program with us tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday night. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports. Good night, everybody.
Turn 5 Live is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com is a member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guest, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or marketing partners. Thank you for listening to Turn 5 Live. You can listen to Turn 5 Live every Tuesday night right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stay tuned for more great PMN programming.
Everything's better when she's around. Can't wait till the parents go out of town. I fell in love.